Hello, today we're going to try to make some biscuits. I'm going to do a little bit of spin from the other ways that I've done it before. I'm going to try to layer them almost like you're doing a croissant. So we're just going to use some regular all-purpose flour, some baking powder, salt, a little dash of sugar, and some buttermilk, and probably a little bit of regular milk. So we're going to try to put it all together and see what we come up with. So first ingredient though, start with the beer. Starting with about 4 cups of flour. I'm not measuring shit today, but first thing we're going to do is we're going to put all the dry ingredients together. So I've got maybe a teaspoon or so, but this is a kosher salt. If you're using iodized, you're going to use less because it has a lot stronger taste to it. Let's see. Any size of this, and we want to put a good amount of baking powder in this to make them nice and fluffy. So the ratio is kind of a tablespoon per cup of flour that you dump in there. So I'm going to do a little bit extra in there. Not really going to hurt you. They're good. A little extra puffy, but I'm going to put 4 tablespoons of baking powder in there, and then a little bit of cream of tartar. So this, maybe half a teaspoon or so to 3/4. Like I said, you're not really going to tell too much of a difference on that, but it'll give it a little bit of a flavor. And then sugar. And if you like your stuff sweet, you can put more in there. I'll put about that much. That was maybe tablespoon, maybe a little bit more than that. All right, so then we mix this with a whisk, so you get it all mixed together. That's about right. Alright, so that's pretty much ready. And what we're going to do next is we're going to chuck that in the freezer. See, move this. Oh man, no, not going to fit in this freezer. We're going to have to try a backup plan here. Light? Yes, let there be light. All right. So let's try this. Set it up here. I need a third arm is what I need. All right. So we're going to put this in the big old right there. And it's going to live in there for probably, I don't know. Make sure it didn't fall over. Gonna live in there for maybe 10-15 minutes. I also stuffed some cubes of butter in the freezer, the other freezer. So we're gonna do something with that in a minute too. Next up, we're gonna throw some butthurt milk in here. And this thing, that's about a cup right there. So, we're gonna go ahead and chuck a little bit extra in there. It's about a cup of that per 3 cups, and since I'm up to 4, I want kind of an extra 1/4, and then I want milk. Yeah, like that. So we're going to make it about that wet, and if I screw this up, we're just going to put more flour in there. So we're going to go by kind of a feel of how sticky it is by the time we get it all mixed up. All right, about 1 beer later, kind of chill the bowl too. So we got some frozen butter sticks. And what we're going to do is we're going to run them through this cheese grater. Some people chop it up into little cubelets or what have you, but we're going to do it like this. I've seen them do it like this too. Seems to work okay. My fingers are going to warm them up a little bit. We're going to grate through this butter. I guess I could have froze the grater too. That probably would have helped. But I'm gonna grate this and I'm gonna chuck it back in the freezer again, just to make sure it's cold. You get down to the little bit, and it just starts becoming a pain in the ass. So what we do, because you only really need a little over a stick of butter. I mean, you can't really put too much butter in such a thing. I'm going to set this aside because you also want to have some to brush over your biscuits while they're cooking. Makes it nice and crispy. Alright, grate some of this one. Look at that. Num num, Gizmo says. Num num. Alright, set that piece aside. And, oh wait, I got an idea. Let's do this. I don't know if you went to the lead lobster at all. But here's another thing you could do with this biscuit dough. You can make those cheesy ones. So grate yourself a nice little wad of cheese. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna make a little side batch, and we're gonna have some cheesy biscuits too. So into the freezer with these two items. I just thought of another thing too, because like if you go to the Pizza Slut and get their the pan pizza, they normally just fill that whole stinking pan up with an oil, but it makes that crust nice and crispy wherever it touches it. So we're going to take that one thin piece of, oh yeah, see how my cast iron is all nice and just rinsed out every time I use it. But you know what? That's why my immune system's strong and I don't get that COVID or crap like that, because I don't clean shit. So anyways, just rub it on there. All right, so that's ready. I'm going to set that aside, and I set the oven up to 375. That's about right. So we're going to assemble the dough, but I think we're going to do a couple of different steps too. So I'm just going to make sure the oven's ready. But we're gonna pull that dry ingredient out and start mixing this together for the next step. Egg. You can put an egg. You don't have to put an egg. If you don't put an egg, it doesn't hurt my feelings. But I'm gonna put an egg in there. Eggs are good, especially if you have biscuits and gravy and you fry an egg and put it on there. Whisk that baby up. And we're going to put in our milk and buttermilk. It's really thick, likes to stick to the edges. That's all good. And mix this up. I mean, I guess I could have skipped the step of putting the crap in here and just put all the buttermilk and everything in this bowl. But we're kind of winging it today. All right, so that's all whisked together nice. Set this aside. Yeah, it'll stay like that. Wait, don't touch them apples. Okay. Now, this is where the well part is important. So we're gonna put a little middle thing in there like this. That's pretty good. You almost want to play with it. Almost. I'm going to pour that in there. Let's Pour some in and then just kind of mix it. Let's see where we're at. Just gonna chuck it in there. That's not ideal for a mixing thing. I need one of my spoon things. Hold on. We gotta go over here and grab this. Alright. One of these. I should have had it already. But you know, the professional that I am. Okay, so we're going to take the mixing spoon. Just move that around a little bit, let it soak in. And we don't want to over mix it. You don't want to rough it up. You almost just want to get it to where it's all just there. We'll use a dough scraper. That'll work good. Look at that. Okay. I guess you could put beer in it if you want, but I don't know if that helps or not. We'll try that next time. Yeah, look at that. It's coming together. Okay, so let's take some of this butter and just kind of chunk it in there. That. Yeah. So I put about half the butter that I shredded in there. And you don't want to develop the gluten of the flour, so try not to mix it too much. We're just kind of moving it around, getting the wet ingredients to soak in to the flour, and just kind of sort of intermingle that butter in it a little bit. But yeah, she's pretty sticky, but it's very lumpy. So now I'm going to chuck it back in the freezer again and let it get cold some more. One more beer later. All right, parchment de paper. It's like wax paper, but it works. This stuff is much better in almost everything that it does than wax paper. So we're gonna turn this out onto the board, and I want to separate, you know, kind of like a chunk of this. Like, let's do this. Put that in that bowl, and we're gonna take the cheese. Oh, that cheese is frozen. We're gonna have some cheesy biscuits in this. Maybe I went a little overboard on the cheese. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking for. I'll just make a little ball out of that. Set it aside. Now I got a giant mess on my fingers. All right, so let's pick the little cheese bits out here. We don't really want cheese in these biscuits because these are just going to be for, you can't throw it away, they're just going to eat it. Taste some of the dough too. That's pretty good. All right. So we're going to kind of smash this out. Look at that. Oh, piece of cheese made it in there. Kind of a square going like that. And then what we're gonna do And you could do something like a rolling pin like this, and that'll help you out a little bit. And don't worry about that stuff that's sticking to it, but layer this butter. Kind of spread it out. There we go. Don't touch that too much with your hands because you're going to warm the butter up. But this will start giving us flaky biscuit layers. And you could do a big butter square and layer just like a whatchamajigger. What do they call it? Oh, croissant, yeah. So, alright. So it's starting to warm up a little bit. So I'm going to cover this baby up and then chuck that in the freezer. Alright, now that we're waiting for that to freeze up, let's do something with our little cheesy biscuits, our lead lobster cheesy biscuits. So we're going to make like a ball. Haven't done this before. So we're going to experiment together. Like that. I should make a circle shape because I got... That's a little big. I have a cast iron like griddle thing in the oven right now, heating up. So what I'm going to do is just put this parchment paper right on top of it with these. And just make them. Alright, so they're going to kind of spread out. Actually, I could have made... We'll just steal some off of this guy, and this guy, and this guy. And make one more, right? Yeah, that guy lives right there. Alright, so I gotta make a circle of them. We're gonna chuck it on top. Oh man. This is always a problem right here. The stickiness of it. But sticky makes them nice and moist, so. Alright, so we're gonna chuck this in the oven on top of my cast iron griddle thing. And pull this out of the freezer. It's still a little bit, I mean, it didn't freeze it solid. I'm gonna damp my hands a little bit. So what we'll do, yeah, that's good. So we're gonna put this over. I want to layer that butter a few times. Yeah, so if it was totally frozen, I wouldn't do that right there, but that's okay. We're going to get some of this butter here and just put some on top of all these and make them nice and happy. We're going to put on broil and keep a close eye on it until they're browned. Oh, that looks about right. Alright, let's pull them babies out. Nice and brown. A little bit light and fluffy. That's just about right. Alright, so we're going to put the cooling rack over here. Alright, let's see what we're working with here. Yeah, look at that. Brush a little butter on that. Yeah, that was good. Nice and fluffy, got some cheese in it. Cheese on the bottom, get a little bit of a crisp. Yeah, and this is only half of it. We're gonna make the other biscuits too. All right. Buttered pan. Pull my dough out of the freeze. Nice and cold. Alright, so what we can do is if you want nice and thick biscuits, what we're going to do is fold that and then just roll it out to where, I'd say a little bit over an inch. I like mine a little bit extra, a little extra thick. So like this. And you actually didn't have to go through all these steps of freezing and flattening it out and rolling it. You could have just cut your biscuits out at that stage when I made the cheese ones. But this part is just a little bit of an experiment. So with this, you can take you could take something like a biscuit cutter or something. That'd be a giant one. That's a little bit too much right there. But you could, in essence, just cut some out. That's like 4 inches across. Normally the cutters are 3 inches. You don't actually have to do that. But what I like to do is I just take. Let's make feel like that. We'll just make them square, and then I will just kind of smash it a little bit into a round shape like that, and put it in the pan. And these could be sized a little bit better, but we're not going for any gold medals here. So just kind of smash that in. And I've done it before where I've just torn off pieces of dough and smashed it. You can kind of see the layers in there. It might work. The goal. Yeah, like that. See, that'll be fine. It's okay, not round. It can be square, triangles, whatever the hell. It's just, I guess triangles, the corners should cook a little bit more, but you want to even space them. Maybe make them a little close because they're going to grow together and make some nice shapes. So, there it is. We're going to chuck that in the oven. So 375, 20-ish minutes, and we'll see what it ends up like. Here's the result. This is about 20 more minutes after I buttered them. Just cooked them till they're browned on the top, a little bit on the sides. So we're going to set these on a cooling rack. And they'll be ready to eat. And if you look at the bottom, nice and brown. That's about the brownness you'd like. Break one of them open here. Like that. Alright, so here it is. The end result. Let's try it out. Put some butter on it. Oh man. That's a good biscuit. I don't think the layers really happen that much, so I think we can skip the flattening and rolling part. I mean, you do have some, but I don't think it really helped. So just skip all the flattening part. As soon as you combine the ingredients, just chill it again and just chunk some off and make biscuits out of it. It'll be good to go.